Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you.
Hey there, this is looking really great. Is it Canadian Wolf? That's a cool name, Canadian Wolf. Is it rude to say, are you from Canada? Anyway, jumping to the shop. My name's Shad Bradbury. A little introduction about me. I've been animating for about 15 years. I'm currently directing an animated short called Toti, or Run Toti Run is actually the name of it now. In my past, I've worked at places like Pixar and Sony, Tippett and Rhythm and Hues. I guess the last film I worked on was it Coco? Yeah, it was Coco. Coco was the last film I worked on. So, that's a little bit about myself. You can just Google my name if you want to find out about me, Shad Bradbury, and I think several things pop up. I don't have a website, but yeah, I took a quick look at this, and it's pretty great. The colors are definitely so. Just to let you know that when you first look at this, it's definitely like the colors. It's like a whoosh. You just get it's like an onslaught of colors. So it's definitely a stylistic choice, and it's definitely it's obvious a choice because the neon is everywhere and so on and so forth. So let's take a look, a run through, and see.
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you. Stop humming.
It's really great. It's at a very high level, and I feel like when a shot is at this type of level, what I can do is basically offer you another set of eyes, because it doesn't matter how good of an animator, it doesn't matter what animator you are. Another set of eyes is always valuable. And I can give you some of the things that I saw, and then I can give you maybe some small polish notes. But overall, I feel like this shot is a superb shot, and it stands on its own. So I applaud you for that, and great job. Should I call you Canadian? Canadian. Okay. So yes. So one of the first things
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
One of the first things that caught my eye that kind of bothered me was this section right here when he's like, let's unpause that.
I can hum if I want to.
I can hum if I want to. And it kind of bothered me because I felt like his head was bouncing around. Like he's like, I can hum if I want to. And I just really wanted to see his expression, and I felt like I missed that. So I know you've colored all of this, and you probably won't make any changes, but that's what I'm going to do anyways, give you notes. I would really minimize all this movement in the head and just be like, what does he say?
I know you can.
What does he say? I would
hum if I want.
I
can hum if I want.
I can hum if I want to. I can hum if I want to. I feel like instead of having like this, you have a lot of.
I can hum if I want to. I can hum if I want to.
I think I would simplify and treat it a lot more like A to B. I can hum if I want to. Like A expression, B expression, and simplify. I'm seeing a lot of like ups and downs, lefts and rights, and I find myself kind of finding like, wait, why is he doing all of this? And part of it's also the mouth, but I'm not suggesting so much that you change the mouth. It's just kind of this like left and right movement that I think you can simplify. Excuse me. Going from there.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you.
It's really great.
Stop.
I wonder, the next thing I noticed was stop humming sounds like it has a lot of force to the voice. It feels like there's a lot of heart and heat behind that. And if I look at this beforehand, like if I just watch the first, where does he actually say the line? If we just look at this, I don't really get that there's a change here of emotion from him. I feel like he's just going about his day and he's an angry person. I don't really get the sense that this scene is annoying him. And I think that's kind of what we're missing before you go into this stop humming that song. and so I think you're missing an opportunity to get like stop humming that, like an antic to basically you getting to saying the line. Like usually it's nice to try to express before we actually act on that emotion. So like I think just a simple like pausing or stopping of the action, I think you can probably do that by cutting once. So you cut once, you throw it aside, and then you do this, and then you cut here again. I wonder if this second, like him cutting that in half, I don't actually think gets you anything. I think if you were to lose that second cut, I don't think anyone would be like, oh, that animation's broken, right? So I think if you set it up to where he's like cutting, and then he stops cutting, that'll tell the audience. It'll be a cue for the audience. Oh, like something has changed. And he's now he's like, and when you show them an expression change, they'll be like, something's changed. Look at his face. Oh, he's annoyed. And then that'll lead up into stop humming that song. What will be nice about that too is if you remove this second. I'm talking about all of this stuff up here. If you remove basically all of that, let's get a different color, yeah, because gray's not a fun color. If you remove all of this, it'll also help lend us to look over here. One of the things I found when I first watched this was first off, all the colors, like you're like, oh my, what, wow, that's a lot of colors. But I found myself looking at this. Partly because everything else is very, very colorful. Everything, like including him, everything's like psychedelic and colorful. So I found myself looking at him at the very beginning, and I'm not quite sure that's your intent. I think your intent is to actually have the audience look at him when he goes, stop, right? Stop. And I say that because that's also the largest movement, right? Your movement from 21 to 22 is rather large, like the spacing from here. Your spacing from like here to here. That's a pretty large spacing. So that's definitely where I feel like you're intending, but because of the colors and everything, we're looking over here. So I think one way we can assist with that is removing this whole second cut. That'll help lead us to look over here, and it'll help his emotion-wise of like anticing his like, stop doing that, right? Stop. Okay, let's move on from there. Oh yes, one other thing that I wanted to quickly point out. Where was it? I wonder. You know, I'd be curious if you just took that image right there and you showed someone without any knowledge of this animation and you asked them what expression they're feeling, they might be able to get it because of this. But what I was wondering is, I wonder if you were to pull this up, so that you really sell the fact that he's happy, versus. Some of these expressions, I kind of read, ooh, maybe that's what I was reading. This feels, these downward brows, and I understand that that's like meant for like concentration, like he's really getting into it, but you might just be able to pull the brows together instead of going down like that. Definitely if you were just to take this image and show that to people, I feel like they would feel that that's probably angry. And so, and what you're trying to do is suggest that this character, even though he's being chopped up, is super, like he's having his life, like the best time of his life, right? And he doesn't care. He's so I think probably keeping yourself on the lighter side of the brows might help with that. And then if you want to show concentration, basically you push this brow in and you push this one in as well, right? And you get that little crease that you have right there. It'd just be higher up. And I think you'd still get that like intensity that I think you're after. Stop. Cool. Let's move past this and let's try seeing what we got after that.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you.
I think the only other like note that I have, like idea note basically.
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking.
Is this part right here. I totally missed this the first 2 or 3 times that I watched this little like, I know you can. And I think that's brilliant. Personally, the reason why is it adds connection to the 2 characters right away with that one little gesture. I feel like they become friends. I feel like with that, it's like, hey, buddy, come on. I feel like it's something that you do with your best friend, and you're like, hey, and, you know, it's like the football players and football. I'm not sure where you're from, but American football, not soccer, where they like slap each other on the butt, or they're like, hey, you know, or like it feels like one of those gestures, right? And so I feel like that's a really great gesture that brings them together, and it's kind of unfortunate that it gets lost. And so I wonder if there's ways that we can clarify that so that it doesn't get lost on people. And one of the things that that is unfortunate is basically it's the same color as all of this stuff, right? So it kind of blends into that. But I think the biggest reason is that you've kind of blended the actions. So right now you have 2 actions. You have this action of putting the arm on top of the other arm, and then you have this action of doing like, hey man, come on, right? And I feel like you're kind of blending them. And I feel like if you were to separate them so that you had this action and that was its own action, and then when the time came, you're like, come on, man. I think it would help sell that idea and clarify it a little bit more. So my suggestion is that you just move that arm coming up earlier. So this arm comes down, and it feels like it would be a natural fit for this arm, the back arm, to start coming up. So right now you have it coming up on frame 174, looks like is the first frame. Well, I think you can probably just push that up to where it's like this arm comes down, and then the next frame is, you know, this arm starts coming up. It gives you that nice the opposing motions, which is something we always look for in animation, right? When you have a motion going one way, a motion going the other way is a really nice, appealing thing to see. So like you'll have one arm coming down, and then that'll kind of push the other arm up. It'll feel like boom, boom. It's like the accordion, right? So if you get that up there before, then you'll have this hand and this arm up there for quite a few frames. Hopefully you can have it in there for, you know, it'd be nice if you can have it in there for a whole second. Right now, I think you only have it, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, oh, you have it for 3 frames. So you might only get 12 frames. If you can get a half a second, that would be ideal. You've got to get it at least in there for a full beat, you know, 7 frames before you do the nudge.
I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Stop humming that song.
Cool. Stop humming that song. Let me see.
Stop humming.
See, for the stop, it feels like stop. Like I feel like all your emotion comes before you actually say the word. So it's like, and like you stop yourself. Stop humming that song, right?
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
You have some really great lip sync. Overall, I feel like your lip sync is on. There was one place.
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can felt a little early to me. And you're probably trying to hit the M, the closed mouth of the M, and I feel like that's probably about right. Wait,
I know you can.
Wait, is it that? Hold on, give me a second. Is it this part?
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can.
I know. Maybe it's you're trying to hit the I know. Was it that section or was it here? Let me see.
That song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
I think it's actually both. So let's look at the first one first.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can.
Yeah, I think the I know you can is just a little I know you can. It can be sharp like you have it. You're trying to get open for that.
If I want to.
I know you.
I think you can push it all a frame later. You might even try 2 frames.
I know you can.
I say this as if it was like 3D animation, right?
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can.
The U part is on though, so I wouldn't shift it any. After U, I think it works.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can.
The you can works. It's just the I know you feels a little early.
I'm asking you to.
And then I'm asking you to stop. That's the one I think you're trying to get for the M.
I'm asking you.
Yeah. What I would do here, instead of popping open so quickly, you might want to lay off on jumping open, or you might want to try to like not go to a closed mouth, but that's not going to be as appealing. It's more like, I know you can. Like it just works so much better when you have a partially open mouth. Wait, what's this one? This one's I'm not.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. It feels like your mouth is already open, and what you're doing is you're popping it open, which makes it feel like it's early. So you might want to pull back on popping it like that, because it doesn't feel like it's a. I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Like, I'm asking you. So it feels like that's a slow open. Cool.
I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you.
Like I said, all of this is, this is great. This is great work. You've got lots of overlap. You've got lots of everything is working. I can go into a few like nitpicky, like specific things, like polish type things, but overall, like those were my like idea notes that I think might help strengthen it.
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you.
The one thing that stood out to me spacing wise, sorry, excuse me. I don't know why, because it's fairly transparent, but this fin feels like you might want to pull, you might want to drag it. Where's your A pose? So this is your A pose right there. So not as much as I did before, but you might want to drag it. And then if you look at your spacing here, like you're locking the tip right here, and then you really shoot it up. And then it kind of hits a wall. Well, it doesn't hit a wall, then it just keeps going. So if you just adjust some of these, and then if you curve that one up, like that, cool. You could call that what you're doing now a stylistic choice though, but it feels a little stutter step to me.
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
Let's see.
I know you.
Good, good, good. I'm taking a look at the spacing now of this up and down. I felt like there was something that I noticed earlier, but it's a great expression. I wonder if you push the eye all the way over. You're trying to get wide around the eye though in that one. Let me take a look at this real quick.
Want to.
I know you can.
Good. I like that spacing. Boom. You hit hard. I assume that that he's hitting the ground there. Oh, I don't know if he is actually. So if we take a look at this, if you wanted him to hit harder, you would swap this so that this would be up here, like this. Whenever you want something to hit hard, right, you have your largest spacing right before the contact. Boom, and then you can go into your like squash. So like here would be this, and then your squash pose would be, it looks like this one, which would be out here. Boom. Cool.
Can? I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you. Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
I know you can. I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking, then I'll stop.
Thank you.
Like I said, really great work, Canadian Wolf. Yeah, I like this scene a lot, and I'm sure that if I were to watch it again, like over and over again, I'd probably see a whole bunch of Easter eggs where you just see all these cool things. Wi-Fi, sushi. Anyway, really great work. Keep it up and happy animating.